2019 Dodge Ram came in with the number 2 misfire and 2305 secondary uh, secondary ignition code. Well, that came in after another shop did the spark plugs and the coils, and nothing changed, so they replaced the injector on number 2 cylinder, nothing changed, and they gave up. Well, I started looking, and I pulled the spark plugs. They were cheap auto white, and one of them was obviously wet, number 2. So when everything was apart, I swapped the coils, checked well, first I checked the compression on the engine, because I know they have a problems. It was low on coolant, a whole bunch of other stuff. Then basically started checking the spark um, while the intake, while everything is apart. No spark on the second cylinder, even if you swap the coils. Check the signals on number 2 cylinder. It does looks like a signal, but I'm like, well, it's got to be a bad connection somewhere. So I went all the way down there. There is a connector between the main harness. Check that. Now then I didn't have a wiring diagram, so I found wires to the ECM. I checked them all. Everything is good. And every time I put the plug back on the ECM and check the spark, no spark. So I was like, man, it must be a driver inside of a ECM. He's gonna need either it's gonna need to be either repaired or replaced. So pretty much uh, starting putting everything back together. Well, first I replaced the spark plugs because the auto light didn't work out. And then when I was putting everything back together, I noticed one weird thing. ECM connectors, the one over there, that's the one that's got the signals for the coils, did not feel like it goes in all the way. And since I removed the cap, I was thinking maybe I moved it somehow. And guess what? I don't think so, because I had to physically move the inside, the latches inside of the plug. It's kind of very hard to move it, to shift it one tooth, and I did it. Now it's tight. You can see that's like that. But I was thinking that probably happened while I was checking wiring. So pretty much was just about to call the customer and tell him he needs the ECM. And I started up the van, and guess what? That was the problem. Right now it's got no pending codes, nothing. Everything is perfect, no misfires. So what I'm guessing, uh, what I'm guessing, what happened. Very long time ago, somebody had that plug out, and they put it back one tooth off, and everything was working. He said in one moment it started misfiring, and since then nobody could have figured out what. I guess simply it was. I guess he drove over like something, and since the plug was not in all the way, That was the whole problem. But it took me all night to find that, but here it is. So if you're working on something like that, you know, pay attention if the plugs are in all way. Maybe somebody before you were missing there and just shifted one tooth. That's, I mean, anything happens.